Hello, Timber Rattlers fans. It's time for episode 2 of our Arizona Check-In with Timber Rattlers manager Matt Erickson. This week, Matt brought along a special guest down at the American Family Fields of Phoenix Complex in Maryvale. That would be Nashville Sounds manager Rick Sweet. So let's go to the interview with Rick Sweet and Matt Erickson. Hello, Timber Rattlers fans, and welcome to our weekly Arizona Check-In with Timber Rattlers manager Matt Erickson on Timber Rattlers YouTube. And Matt, down in Arizona, has a special guest, and that would be Nashville Sounds manager Rick Sweet. And welcome, Matt. Welcome, Rick. How are you guys doing down there?
Doing good. Good to be here.
We're having a good time. It's nice to be back with baseball.
Well, let's get to the big news for us up here in Appleton. The alternate training site is going to be the home of for the Brewers again coming up here on April 12th. Rick, you as the manager of the Nashville Sounds will be up here, and I'll ask my first question to Matt. Matt, is there anything you need me to move in your office before Rick gets up here?
Absolutely not. He has free reign. Anything that he wants or needs. There's some wildlife now. There's some added wildlife in the office now, so hopefully he has some appreciation for that.
I saw the deer head.
Big buckhead.
Nice.
Shot a duck down in Arkansas that's been sitting in my basement for about 20 years, and now it's up on the wall.
I lived in Wisconsin for 3 or 4 off seasons, so I know about the wildlife in Wisconsin. That's why I asked what we had coming.
Good to hear. Rick, how is the whole alternate training site going to work from your understanding? I know the Brewers are going to need some guys to be ready in case they're needed down in Milwaukee at the big league level, but you also have to get ready for the Nashville Sounds AAA season this year.
Yeah, and I think that'll be the difference. I think when they had it before, they were just getting them ready for the major leagues. We're going to run it a little more like I would run a AAA spring training, getting ready to play my season. So I think we're going to have guys more on trying to stay sharper for their own season, not just the major league season. But of course, you know, the primary job is to always have players available for counsel when he needs them.
You're not just picking Matt's brain about what to expect up here, but you're going to have some resources in Jim Henderson, who is the pitching coach here, and Al Buff, who is a coach up here as well. And we're looking forward to seeing those guys come back too.
Yeah, they're looking forward to getting up there too. Everybody always has good experiences. Appleton's one of those cities and communities that is baseball oriented. The people enjoy coming to the ballpark, and I know we won't get to have fans out there, but I think just knowing that we're having baseball this close, helping the major league club, you know, it's a tribute to Appleton at how good they've been at supporting the Brewers.
What is the plan going to be for running it like a AAA spring training? Obviously, down in Arizona, you've in the past been able to go out and play other teams, but that probably isn't going to be an option here this year?
Oh, yeah. No, it's an option. We've already got, for sure, 4 games set up, although we're going to play those in Milwaukee. While the big league clubs on the road, we will play some games in the Dome. But on the other hand, the weeks that the big clubs in Milwaukee, we're going to have some games in Appleton. We're going to have the Chicago White Sox and possibly the Minnesota Twins. They'll be in St. Paul, and the White Sox are north of Chicago. I'm not sure the city, but they're all willing to drive 2 or 3 hours to get to play a ball game. So we plan on playing some ball games in Appleton. You know, I'm sure fans will not be allowed, although I wouldn't write that off now that I think about it, because, you know, it depends on how the state's set up. And I think right now they're set up at 20% capacity. I didn't even think about that. You're the mayor. Why didn't you think about that?
I think it's actually 25%.
25%. See, the mayor knows.
Let me tell you, if there's a way to get fans in the stands, Rob Zerzaf would get it done.
It is going to be exciting, and we are working with the Brewers and with Major League Baseball and the state on how we can get some people in here. And you know, I think that's been the big adjustment down for the Major League games down at spring training, is that fans are in the stands and players are getting used to having that reaction instead of the canned crowd noise that we had during the alternate training site last year.
It makes a difference. The biggest problem is we don't let them get autographs. That interaction of fans and players isn't there. They keep them back away, and players stay away too. So that's the one drawback to the whole thing, but having the noise and the fans are really appreciating the games, getting to yell, and it's been nice.
Major League Baseball sent out an announcement about making some changes, some rule changes at the various levels in minor league baseball. And Matt, we'll talk about the high A one in a moment. But Rick, the big change for AAA is going to be the size of the bases are going to be from 15 inches to 18 inches. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you guys adjust to that?
Well, number one, there won't be an adjustment because really, I think it's trying to separate first baseman from plays at first base. That's the primary spot. So that's the first thing. And I think the second thing they're looking at is, it's 6 inches closer, 3 inches on each side, trying to get more stolen bases. But I don't see it having a big effect in AAA. I think it's a very minor one. I think all the other moves they're having in AA and A ball are going to be the ones that'll be more effective.
Matt, for you guys at the high A league, it's going to be the step-off rule. That means that both left-handers and right-hand pitchers will have to step off the rubber before attempting a pickoff move to first base. That means no more hanging the leg out there, seeing if a guy is going to run anymore, right?
Yeah, for left-handed pitchers that have a really good move to first base, that really is a huge weapon to take away from them. Not only that, in my opinion, for left-handers to step off and give a snap throw kind of puts them in a precarious situation medically with some guys. So it'll be interesting to see how this is looked at, but definitely is going to make it more advantageous to run.
Oh, yeah.
So the running game is always something that is pushed, I think, a little bit to the limits in A ball. So we're a little bit higher level this year. So we'll have some better catchers in the league and some pitchers that will have a good idea of holding runners with varied looks and times and holds. And it won't be, I guess the pitchers are going to have to hold the runners a little bit better that way and not just a pickoff move.
Major League Baseball also taking over the scheduling for minor league baseball. That means we're going to have a 6-game series with a universal off day on Monday. That's going to be the same throughout all of minor league baseball. So, Rick, what do you think about a 6-game series against maybe one of the big rivals for the Brewers AAA?
Well, I think obviously it could create problems when you have that many days playing the same team, and the same thing with umpires. Umpires. Matt and I were talking about. We hope umpires switch out every 3 days because they can get attitudes there too. But that being said, I really think I know I plan as a manager to keep everything calm and maybe let some stuff slide by. Normally you wouldn't, as far as not creating problems with the other team. I think right now it's very good for baseball. It'd be a lot less travel. You get to know, you'll definitely find out how good your players are because you'll get to know the other team. But I think for 1 year, and it's all it will be. It's a smart move with the COVID and trying to keep the tracing down. It'll be easier playing those 6-game series. Plus, we get that off day every Monday. That's huge. We don't get that in the minor leagues.
Especially at the AAA level, where usually you're on a plane flying someplace, and then you have a couple of different flights to get someplace, and not a lot of off days in there to recoup.
Well, it's 2-3 hours sleep's all you get. You get into the new town. You get in at 12, 1 o'clock. You got to head to the ballpark at 4 or 5 to play the game that night. So, we lose a lot of sleep. I think the injuries will be down because of it, and we fly a lot. Although again, with the way AAA set up now, we're going to bus a lot more this year because we're not playing everybody in AAA East. There's 20 teams in AAA East. We're only going to play about 12 of them.
Yeah, Matty, same question for you. 6-game series. We're a bus league. I think the Erickson family is going to be a little shocked to have you home that many days in a row.
Well, it's amazing that they knew that 6 days is about the limit with my family until they want to kick me out. But no, I agree with Rick. Other than with the umpires, I don't believe him for a second that he's not going to voice his opinions if needed. But there has to be some accountability, right? But no, I think from a health standpoint, it's something that we have to do with the COVID restrictions and trying to keep everybody as safe as possible. At the moment, it's definitely the year to do it. And when you're missing an entire season from last year, to give them that 1 day off of recovery, I think is a huge deal, especially in minor league baseball this year.
Okay. Last question for you both. The big news, at least as far as Timber Rattlers fans go and Brewers fans go, is National League Rookie of the Year, Devin Williams, and Reliever of the Year, Devin Williams, got his spring training debut this past Saturday. Maddie, what have you noticed in Devin in his growth from when he was here 5-6 years ago to where he is right now?
There's some maturity to it, obviously. We had a little trouble with Devin in the beginning with telling time. He wasn't always where he needed to be, but he's obviously, it's one of the neat things for me is when I see these guys coming out of high school or when they just get drafted, and everybody has a different personality and everybody has a different maturity level. Not that Devin was immature, but there's, at that age, you make mistakes and then you learn from those mistakes. But it's been really fun to see Devin not only move through the levels, but come back from an injury. And now, obviously, having great success last year at the big league level. But you can see his competitiveness when he steps on the lines. There's a fire to him. And he's pretty laid back personality when he steps off the field, but when he's between the lines, he has learned to compete with every inch of his bones. So that's been fun to watch. I just got a chance to talk with Hookie this morning, and he said that obviously this is a rehab off season for him, trying to strengthen his body and his arm. But he had the first outing the other day. He's scheduled to get 4 more touches on the mound before the season starts, and everything's looking good so far.
And Rick, I think it was AAA, like his first bullpen at AAA, he went down and the catcher said he's not going to be here very long when you were in Colorado, or when you were in San Antonio, I believe, right?
Yeah. I think the thing with Devin is he had a good arm. Number one, his time management had matured by the time he got to AAA. He was, and that's something that's huge. We laugh about it, but they need to learn this stuff. And if they don't learn it at the lower levels and they wait till they get to the upper levels, they don't make it. They just don't make it in the game. So he was prepared to come to AAA. You could see the changeup, but not the devastating changeup that he has now. But the fastball was starting to develop. It was the command of the fastball that was late in coming. But he put it together for us. You could see it. It was like, okay, this guy's got some stuff, and the changeup really started coming. But when he got to the big leagues, it just all fell in place. But it started in Appleton. It started in A-ball, and it's a step all the way to the big leagues, so that when they get there, Matt and I can look at each other and say, all right, we did our part. Now it's up to them. Don't mess it up when you get to the big leagues.
That's the whole part of player development, right, guys?
Exactly.
All right. Well, Matt Erickson, manager of the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, Rick Sweet, manager of the Nashville Sounds. Thanks for joining us on this week's Arizona Check-In. That will do it for this week's Arizona Check-In with Timber Rattlers' Matt Erickson. We want to thank Matt for being our guest again and for bringing Rick Sweet from the Nashville Sounds into this week's Check-In. Until next time, Timber Rattlers fans, we'll see you at the ballpark.